32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
Playoffs are heating up under the bright lights of Sin City. Get ready for a high-stakes showdown as some of the best drivers on iRacing fight for a berth in the Championship 4. Who will hit the jackpot tonight? Live from Las Vegas, it's the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution. I'm your host and producer, Morgan Cook, and alongside me, as always, Alex Gagnon up here in the V-Speed booth.
And you know, with it being Vegas, it felt in good spirit to take a bit of a gamble tonight with how close I could cut it trying to make the show, and the answer was almost too late. But we're here just in time for what should be a brilliant opener to the round of 8.
In the race tonight, the Erhardt Homes 200 at the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Should be a thriller tonight. Now the points reset for the round of 8 this week, and here's what it looks like. Burns, Rader, Gilbert, Keith in right now. Caleb Gilbert, Grant Thorpe, Carter Linz, Justice Murphy on the outside looking in. Who is going to be the first driver to punch their ticket to the Final Four at Phoenix in a few weeks' time?
Yeah, you look at these point standings, and it's so clear how that advantage that Burns and Rader worked for during the regular season is coming into play here so far, already that far ahead of the cut line. Starting the round is going to be such a huge advantage for the 9 and the 53, but for the other 6 drivers, an uphill battle to fight, to be sure. Not a whole lot of space at this point. Can't afford any mistakes this deep into the season. You've got to have a great 3 races through this round to give yourself a chance at the championship 4.
Yeah, Burns is almost locked in already. It's essentially 50 points is the most you can get per race. He's already sitting at 43 above the cut line, so he almost has a full race to spare. Hopefully it goes better for him than it did Kyle Busch in 2008 when he had that same advantage in the first race of the chase, and that didn't go so well for the driver of the 18 at that point in time. See if Burns can make it onto the championship 4. And maybe his teammate Rob Rader will join him, last year's champion, once they get around Phoenix quite well. That's a look at your points. Let's talk about this cookie cutter racetrack, the one they call Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, a mile and a half around this track, 20-degree banking in the corners. Nothing funny about the back straightaway or the front here. This is about as straightforward of a track you can get here, running ovals. Mile and a half where there's no strange sort of gimmicks to it. A little bit of multi-lane action through the corners. You're able to run low, you're able to run high, and make some moves out there. And it will be pretty important to keep an eye on your stuff tonight. Obviously, being out in Vegas, some high heats are expected even this deep into the year and could be a factor when it comes to tire wear tonight.
Absolutely. And for everyone at home, this is the 2008 version of Las Vegas, not the 2024 version. So we do not have the variable banking in the corners here like you would see at a Kansas. So keep that in mind. A lot of bottom dominant racing tonight, but the top line can work later in the run, just as Alex had mentioned. You talked about heat. Let's bring up the weather. 97 degrees on the track. A bit of a cool day for Vegas' standards at 76 Fahrenheit, but that's going to be slick out there for sure. Let's have a look at the Pole Award winner today, presented by Coastal Financial. That driver's Parker Johnston. I believe that's the first pole of the season, possibly the second one for driver 48. Congratulations to him. Unfortunately, looks like 1 week too late as he missed the playoffs last week. But our mission at Coastal Financial is to provide comprehensive financial planning solutions tailored to each individual's unique needs and goals, with the aim of empowering our clients to make informed financial decisions and achieve their financial potential. You can find us at coastalfinancial.com or on Facebook at Coastal Financial. Thank you once again for being the sponsor all season long of the Coastal Financial Pole Award. And now we can hit the grid. We just saw him starting on the pole, Parker Johnston in the 48. Jeremy Burns will start alongside. Row 2 looks like this. Travis Gilbert in the 22. Justice Murphy in the 12 will start in 4th. 5th position, Alex Forget in the 19. Matt Robinson starts 6th in the 1. 7th position, Jackson McGeorge in the 98. Tyler Harrison in the 45 starts 8th. And your top 10, Nick Alves and Carter Linz, make up row number 5.
In row 6, it'll be the 88 of Chris Nail and the 40 of Al Likens. And 13th tonight, the 54 of Caleb Gilbert. Grant Thorpe to his outside in the 77. Row 8 will be the 41 of Trevor Erhardt and the 26 of Kyle Diaz, who had a great run last week. 17th will be Trevor Keith in the 15 machine. Kevin Orlando Jr. rolls off 18. And row 10, Michael Bennett in the 14, Brandon Richardson in the 8.
21st tonight, James Loveland making his return to the series in the V-Speed 02. Christopher Schaefer will start 22nd in the 23. 23rd spot, Devin Hudgens in the 84. The Candyman, Daniel Holloway, starts 24th. 25th, Grant Turner in the 39. Christian Bresnock starts 26th in the 00. 27th, Rob Rader. Not a great qualifying effort for your championship contender. Joe Joya starts 28th tonight, and last driver on the grid, Dylan Picklesheimer in the 43. That is how it's going to start here tonight. Highly doubt that's how it's going to finish from high above this Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Let's have a quick look at your race analysis. You see it on the corner of your screen. Stage at lap 40, 133 laps makes up the full distance here tonight. The pit road speed is 50 miles an hour, 5 tire sets. You probably won't use them all, but maybe you might. 3 green, white checkers just in case. You can go about 30 laps on fuel at half of the regular fuel capacity. The fixed setup, and there are no fast repairs. You got what you got. You better make it last here tonight. Pace car is going to take a hard left-hand turn down the pit lane. Oh, not this time. Okay, there it is. Yes, he is.
Waiting real long.
All right. Last second commit there. Green flag in hand to the starter, and we're racing. The round of 8 is underway. Side by side for the lead. Gilbert got there to lead lap number 1.
Good battle there for the lead. Travis Gilbert, Parker Johnston fighting back on the outside. And to the point you made just a moment ago, Morgan, not only is this Parker Johnston's first pole of the year, it's the first time he's qualified inside the top 5 this season. His previous best mark was 6th, and then back-to-back weeks at Sonoma and Charlotte. So big opportunity here for the 48 to try and do some damage on the front field.
Yeah, definitely a good time to be peaking. Unfortunately for him, it's probably going to be a little too late. Obviously missed the playoffs last week. Can still get a good points finish out of the year and build some momentum for the next season. Try our best to highlight playoff drivers tonight. Right now, right on board with driver 54, Caleb Gilbert, running 13th currently. About middle of the playoff drivers. You can see he has the yellow spoiler on the back. We would see it if we were on the roof cam. You can see it there in the shot. Yellow spoiler on the back of that 54. His teammate Rob Rader is going to try and roll the high line, pass some cars after a dismal qualifying effort started back in 27th. He's already gained a few positions up to 23rd, although they're 3 wide in front of him.
It's going to be really hard for the 53 to make any forward progress in the early going with how wadded up the field is right now. Now going to dive to the low side of Schaefer, going to put it 3 wide with Hudgens up high. That Chapman Environmental Services machine going to run the apron, try and clear the 23 off of turn 4. He's already having to get a little creative with how he tries to find his way through the field, but it is tough sledding right now. The driver who came in second in the race.
Couple playoff drivers here side by side. Thorpe, oh, we just saw the 41 catch the apron there. You got Thorpe and Keith side by side, battling back here for the 15th position. Way to the outside. That was Chris Nail in the 88. Blacked out this week. Is up at the front. It's all Travis Gilbert so far. 7 laps in. Led every lap so far.
Yeah, the 22 jumped out to the early lead. Hasn't created a ton of separation, but at least is able to control this race from the point. Meanwhile, a little deeper in the field, it is still side by side every step of the way. On board with the 14 of Michael Bennett, who's running the inside right now, but has had battles all over the track with Erhardt, Hudgens, and more.
So Dylan Picklesheimer a little bit off the pace here. He has lost the pack currently. Back here in the 29th position. A lot of battling still happening. We're 2 by 2 throughout the field. Tires still fresh, grip still up. If that'll change eventually here as Rader goes down to the bottom again. Another 3 wide move. Trying to get around Trevor Erhardt. That moves him into 21st on the field. Field's kind of stacked up behind the 45.
Yeah, and we've seen that in a couple different places already. The cars are starting to get bottled up, even though we're only a couple laps in. We're already starting to see who's got pace for race pace versus those who just had maybe a little bit of qualifying trim set up for how they ran this to get to their starting spot. Taking a look here at the 45. Just outside the top 10 is Tyler Harrison. Coming off a rough week last week at the Roval, trying to have a big bounce back here.
Erhardt had a
deep in the field.
big moment off of turn 2.
Could have been disastrous for the 41. Trevor Erhardt losing a ton of track position. Now back at the tail end of the field.
Quick replay, see what happened off of turn number 2. Running right behind Rader and Hudgens. We saw the field scatter behind the 41. Bit of a free moment, caught the apron up the racetrack. You see everybody scatter behind him. Great save by Erhardt.
And a good job from everyone else to make sure they didn't put themselves in the wall trying to avoid the 41. Overall, obviously detrimental to the 41's running position, but no harm, no foul to himself or anyone else in the field. As an elevator move from Rob Rader, looks to the inside of Orlando Jr. as they make their way into turn 1.
Rob Rader has now cracked the top 20, 12 laps to gain 7 positions. That's how tough the sledding will be tonight. But if anybody can do it, I think it's that driver, the Rocket, Rob Rader.
He's on the tail end. Another playoff driver there. That's Grant Thorpe just in front of him. And Trevor Keith. So 3 of the playoff 8 that remain in that little group as they are 3 wide down the front straightaway. Orlando Jr. and Hudgens to the outside of the 53. It got real tight off of turn 4. More contact in the turn 1 now.
Little door bang and
27 and the 53.
Down into turn number 1. Not what any of these drivers want, but sometimes it's what you have to do. Oh, they're still door banging. Rader's going to lose 2 spots out of that one. Probably not too happy with the 27, Kevin Orlando Jr.
Yeah, but also if you're the 27, the last place you want to be is stuck 3 wide lap after lap in the middle on lap 13 of the race. I could understand the frustration from the 27. Luckily for both him and the 53, that didn't end any worse.
And for the first time tonight, second position is going to change hands. Parker Johnston gives way for the moment to Jeremy Burns. Not quite completed the pass yet. Dive it off into turn number 3. He will be clear for the moment. Can he clear off of turn 4? Yes. Yes, he can. Maybe. Maybe not. He's still there on the outside. Parker Johnston hanging tough. Jeremy Burns right rear.
48's having a really good run down the straightaways, using all that momentum from the high side to keep himself in the hunt. We're taking a look there, that on screen, that is the 9 of Jeremy Burns. We're looking off his back bumper right now to see a whole lot of purple. Parker Johnston will slide into 3rd, just behind the driver of the 9. Matt Robinson on the move a little bit here early as well. He's up the P4 trying to track down these 2 as well. We've got Jackson McGeorge hot on his heels. Everything kind of getting stacked up behind 2nd as that battle waged for several laps.
And Nick Alves having a good showing as well in P6. One of the better runs we've seen out of driver 24 so far this season. Repping Coastal Financial all year long. I know they appreciate it, and I think he's appreciating this good run here so far in Las Vegas. But 17 laps in, it's been this guy. It's 22. Travis Gilbert, your leader so far. Led every single one of them. And the gap is growing off the back bumper. 3/4 of a second back to Jeremy Burns.
You start to see the 22 really starting to pull that advantage here. I mean, he is starting to get clean air and just driving away.
And this group has not gone away. Trevor Keith, Rob Rader in the middle of it. Rader now up to 19th position. Keith down 2 now. Currently resides in that 19th spot as Rader just gets around him. They're right behind Richardson. That is going to get tight. Little bump drafting here at Las Vegas. Another great battle up here. How about the 6th position? Linz and McGeorge going at it. Linz still in the playoffs. Showing that
he
he's
has had to work his way to get to this point. It has not been an easy path at 66.
No, he is. He's turned up the wick here recently, and he's brought the lunch pail and the hard hat to work. He's been getting after it. Up 4 spots today. Kyle Diaz behind him has gained 9 positions. biggest mover in the
Yeah,
race so
talk about
far.
trending in the right direction the past couple weeks. The 26 of Kyle Diaz, an impressive showing last week at the Roval, and already putting himself into conversation and trying to break into the top 5 potential. What a scrum him, Linz, and Jackson McGeorge are having right now. Alex Forget trying to get a piece of it as well. All 4 of these cars under a blanket as they make their way down the back straightaway.
This whole race is a scrum. There are cars on top of each other all over the place. As Al Likens having an issue. Caution in the back of the field. Trevor Erhardt involved? Yes, the 41 Texas A&M engineering machine is involved in the accident. Let's go back and figure out how did this occur.
Looked like there was quite a few cars who got caught up in that one.
You see Likens here in the 40, just gets loose. Simply loose in the center of the corner, can't save it.
Bennett got a
Holloway's
really hard
involved.
piece of the wall. Oh, Resnock got slowed down, and then Joe Joya behind him, just nowhere to go. Punts him into oncoming traffic. That was getting messy by the end of it. There was probably about 5 or 6 different cars who got caught up.
Yeah, we're right on board here with Joe Joya. You can see it well up ahead here. Car just gets free. There it is, spinning in front of him. And got the back of Bresnock pretty good. That's going to hurt the right front of the 17. 41 really with nowhere to go. That's going to be caution number 1 of the day, about halfway through the stage. This is a nice time to hit the pit lane.
It really is. With that fuel window being loosely 30 laps, this is a perfect time for tires and fuel. I've got enough sets to make it worth doing a full stop of service here. You see the leaders making their way down. Travis Gilbert, Jeremy Burns, Parker Johnston all into their box.
Who will win the race off pit road? My guess would be driver 22, Travis Gilbert, as he was first on pit road. He's out of the box first. He will win that race off pit road. Matt Robinson
Only
with a great
2
stop.
tires.
Yeah, 2 tires on the top 4, 5. Top 4 on 2 tires, fuel only for Brandon Richardson in 6th. That is a dangerous call. First driver on 4 fresh ones, Jeremy Burns, in the 5th position.
I mean, it's a bit of a dicey call even for the drivers who only took 2 tires there. I mean, they still have to, when they get green, it'll still be about 16, 17 laps or so till the stage. And while that's not a super long period of time, it'll be enough time for those tires to start to really wear in, for those left sides to be really shot by the time they hit the stage break.
The good news about this next-gen car, the left sides never really wear all that much. It's usually right side dominant tire wear, so if you do take those right side tires, it'll loosen the car up certainly, and I think a lot of drivers are fighting tight on fire off in this machine here tonight. So yeah, this is an interesting call, but there is no better time to test 2 tires than for a 16-lap dash at the end of stage 1. That's the best time to do it, because if things go wrong, you only got to suffer for 16 more laps.
It's also going to be a huge moment here for the rest of the field to keep an eye on how this works out for the 4 drivers who only took 2, to see how feasible of an option it would be if you find yourself in a similar situation with, say, 15 laps to go in the race. This will be a learning opportunity, I think, for the whole field to see what those 2 tires can do. Obviously, those who took it trying to get the stage win and the points that come with it. But for those who didn't, an opportunity to see potential strategy options for people in this race.
And let's break down where everyone is at on tires so far. Your leader, Travis Gilbert, he is sitting on 2 tires right now. Driver behind him, Matt Robinson, as well, 2 tires. Alex Forget took right sides only. So did Nick Alves in the 4th position. Jeremy Burns on 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. 6th spot, Brandon Richardson, apologies. He is on fuel only, so no tires taken on that stop. Parker Johnston took 4. Caleb Gilbert on 2. Carter Linz on 4. So is Jackson McGeorge. Trevor Keith in 11th is on 2 tires. Mixed bag from there on back. Rob Rader's on 2. Everybody else, it seems like, has taken their 4 tires throughout the field. Christian Bresnock, with the damage from that accident, he is currently 29th position, 2 laps down. Only driving out on the lead lap. Trevor Erhardt, he will get out ahead of the pace car that is right behind him, dangerously close behind him, in fact. He will stay on the lead lap in 28th. Grant Turner We saw him get waved around. He will start 27th on this restart. Everybody else on the lead lap.
Be interesting to see what Matt Robinson's got here on the front row. Obviously, those front 2 rows all on 2 tires, and then you've got Burns and Johnson a little farther back on 4. We'll be curious to see if those 2 tires will hold their own in the open and go, or if they're going to end up just being road bumps for those who took 4. One of those situations you only find out once you get up to speed, but it's all the more critical for those front 2 rows. You can't afford to spin the tires here on the restart just because the half of them are a little more worn in. You got to make sure you get a clean restart here, otherwise this could really stack up the field.
And this could be a very beneficial call. This could bring the balance to where you need it for the short run and work its way to the tighter side later. We're going to find out here. We have about 15 laps left in the stage at lap number 40. Travis Gilbert going to lead the field to green. Robinson on his outside. Pace car going to again make that very late left-hand turn. That's a commitment line violation, but that's neither here nor there. We are green again here at Vegas.
Looks like the field got a pretty good launch there. Everything going to get 3 wide, a little further back behind the leaders.
4
Look
wide.
at that, man. 4 wide even. Holy. Not too often you see 4 wide at Vegas. Trevor Keith, Jackson McGeorge.
Still 4
trying to get
wide.
themselves sorted out.
There's 3 playoff
Oh,
drivers
boy.
right in the middle of it. Murphy, Keith, and Thorpe. They're still 3 wide. Not what you want to see if you're a playoff driver.
Still 3 wide into turn 1. Harrison now to the low side. Keith blocks. We've got Murphy and Richardson up high. The fuel only call for the 8 seems to not be working. He is falling through the field in a hurry here, as everyone is flying on by on the inside.
He's already negative 11 on this restart. Not the call he needed.
The 2-tire call seems to be working fairly well. All 4 of those guys still running the top 4.
And Burns in 5th, first driver on new tires. Parker Johnson right behind him. The other 2-tire drivers, Caleb Gilbert, Rob Rader, are hanging tough. In fact, Rader has gained a couple spots since we went back racing. We got Matt Robinson in the outside wall off of turn number 4. I see that all night here tonight. It gets very difficult to turn the steering wheel entering turn 3 and exiting turn number 4.
Yeah, and that's one of those. This is the one thing with this track is the exit of turn 4. Deceptive how fast it comes up on you. It really pushes all the way out to that wall. If you're not careful, you'll end up bagging it before long. On board here with Forget, you see just how close that thing comes at you. And you make your way off the corner. There's a little onboard shot with the driver with the 19. Less than a car length away from trying to make a move for the lead. He's actually going to look for it here in 1 and 2.
And I'm glad to see he's got his Canadian fuel. He's got that Timmy sitting beside him. Good and energized, ready to rumble here in Las Vegas. A little door banging on the backstretch. That's what we need to see here. He's going to take the lead off of turn 4. Gilbert's got the advantage. Still door banging. Forget's going to lead at the line.
Yeah, not a great exit for the 22. Obviously, with the 19 up there, prevented him from getting all the way up to the wall. Corner exit, cost him a little bit of speed. It's giving the 19 just enough of an edge to clear him here through 1 and 2. Robinson going to try and follow him on through.
So say, don't look now, but here comes the 1 shot out of a cannon as the 22 is going to fall back to the 3rd spot. Lowest position he's been all day. What does Dirty Air do to the driver of the 22? How does it change the handling? As it's still the top 4 on those 2 tires with 10 laps remaining in the stage. Got a great battle back here. I think that Holloway's got some issues falling back through the field. Down to currently 28th, last driver on the lead lap, fighting with Picklesheimer. A little further up the field, we got still, these drivers cannot get it sorted out. The 3 playoff drivers. Murphy, Thorpe, and Keith, currently 11, 12, and 13 on the grid.
the one thing you can say when you've got 3 playoff drivers all stacked together like this is none of them are really getting an advantage over you, which might give you a little bit of solace, but when you're running outside the top 10 in this 3-car race, you guys got to have a feeling that some of those guys who are running inside the top 10 right now are starting to open up that one gap over you if you don't start getting a move on here. Someone clipped the wall there a little deeper in the field. It might have been Chris Nail or
Devin Hudgens. At 84, Devin Hudgens just caught the outside wall. Damage not significant though on the 84. That is good news. Somebody just got sideways in front of him. I think we're all right. Crazy race so far here in Las Vegas. Pretty much what we expected. Although I did not expect so much, I would call it pack racing. A lot of grip in this nearly 100-degree racetrack in the desert of Nevada.
Having the opportunity to drive past Las Vegas Motor Speedway once, it is rather jarring. You make your way down the strip, out of town, leaving Las Vegas. All of a sudden, it looks like there's almost nothing out there, and then boom, there's just a speedway right off the side of the highway, and then you go another 5 minutes, and there is nothing again. It really is an interesting setup, and you get some gorgeous views from the grandstands. You're able to see the strip off in the distance, and you're sitting on that front straightaway. It's a really cool setup they got here, but visually, when you're outside the track, it is honestly goofy.
I bet it is. What's not goofy, the 22 moving up through the field. We've seen this all season long, moving back around Matt Robinson. He will take the second position back, set his sights on our Canadian friend, Alex Forget, who is your current leader. Not a playoff eligible driver, but a driver who wants to win nonetheless. Add to the 2 he has, 2, I think, on the season, Alex Forget has captured.
That does sound about right. I do believe he has picked up about 2 wins to this point.
Kansas and Darlington, if I'm not mistaken.
I do believe those are the ones.
It's been a lot of races, folks. We've done almost over 30 of them now.
Yeah.
Bring the schedule up on the screen for you quickly. We've only got, after this one, 3 races left. Homestead, Martinsville, and Phoenix. Unbelievable how much fun this season has been here on V-Speed. Thank you for the Racing Revolution Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series for allowing us the opportunity to broadcast this league for you all season long. Down the backstretch, battle 24 and 54. That's the battle for 5th. Nick Alves, Caleb Gilbert. As one gets the advantage off of 2, one gets the advantage into 3. What happens off of turn number 4?
All Raider thought about going all the way down. Gilbert, though, took away that opportunity. The 53 is going to be right on his bumper going in the 1.
I think we found the limit of the 2 tires. Matt Robinson has fallen off the pace significantly. Jeremy Burns up to 3rd now as the 1 is going to fall back into the clutches of the other 2 Element X drivers in 5th and 6th.
It has worked out for the most part, though. They're coming to lap 39 here. Only 2 more laps in the stage before the break. So they nearly were able to stretch this thing all the way on the 2 tires. So very interesting notes, I'm sure, being drawn up by these crew chiefs if there was a late race caution. Looks like the 2 tires is a viable strategy if it is about 12 laps or less, given that the rest of the field are on new tires there.
And we're blocking down to the bottom. And for the white flag in the stage, the 19's going to get it. One more shot to the bottom here. Turn number 1. Can't quite get there. Burns has caught them. Will the 4 tires be enough to get through? Turn 3 and 4 a little bit faster. You can see the nose of Jeremy Burns appear. Blocked down to the bottom. It's going to be contact into turn number 3. I don't think anyone's going to get around. Alex Forget slides up off the corner. He's going to get turned. He's going to get spun. So is the 22. Jeremy Burns going to win the stage in front of the field. The whole field's wrecking. Oh my goodness. What is going on? Everyone is just wrecked. Oh wow. That was completely unnecessary. But oh my goodness, that just ruined a lot of races. The 22 is destroyed.
He's not the only playoff driver whose car is completely mangled. The 54, Caleb Gilbert, took a shot there as well. The 22, man, that thing is crab walking like crazy. Heavy damage for Caleb Gilbert.
These will be DNFs
Boy.
for both of these drivers. That was unbelievable, but the stage win goes to Jeremy Burns. This dude is just showered in good luck. I don't know how he avoided that. Rob Rader went from 27th to 3rd in the stage. We got to go back and see, how did that just happen?
Yeah.
How did it unfold? Unbelievable stuff here. We're witnessing on V-Speed. We'll be back in just a second to go find that. So here we are. This is coming to the white flag. We're right on board with Rob Rader because he had a great view of this. See up ahead, into turn 3, the 22 just drives into the back of the 19, gets him sideways. They wreck around Burns, and this is how close it was for Rob Rader. One car away.
The onboard, I think, for Caleb Gilbert is going to be a terrifying sight because there was nowhere for the 54 to go as the 22 was spinning down the track.
So here we are on board with the 54. And yeah, hang on to your lunch, folks. This one is going to hurt. Looking for 4th spot in the stage, pedaling it. Sees him get loose and just can't avoid it. Boom. Chris Nail was involved as well. Parker Johnston got a piece of it, but that's going to be a day ender, more than likely for the 54 as well as the 22. 2 drivers who are going to get a top 5 in the stage. Not going to happen anymore.
And that could potentially really put them behind the 8 ball here in this playoff round. I mean, neither of them were particularly secure in their fate. Travis Gilbert only +5, Caleb Gilbert -1. So now both of these guys potential DNFs, or if nothing else, those cars won't be driving right, that's for sure. Could really shake up the playoff picture here because both of those cars were wicked fast today and now might not have anything to show for it.
And with the stage win, all Jeremy Burns basically has to do next week is start the race. And he'll essentially be not quite mathematically locked in, but beyond most doubt, he'd be locked into the round of 4. So good break for Jeremy Burns. Fuel only for Kyle Diaz out in front of the field. He will be your leader at the restart. Burns won the stage. Rader is now 3rd. Matt Robinson is 4th. McGeorge in the 5th position. Playoff drivers Justice Murphy, Carter Linz, Grant Thorpe, and Trevor Keith are 6th through 9th. Devin Hudgens is in the 10th position. Wow. There's not much more you can say about that stage.
No. If anything, you would have thought that was coming to the line for the race win.
I agree with that, and I can't help but think there's probably some 2020 hindsight going on here with, do you make, if you're in the same position again and you're Travis Gilbert or you're Alex Forget, do you make that move? Do you block? Do you try and push the issue, or do you just ride and take the 2nd place points? I understand winning is important. I understand winning feels good and winning builds confidence, but there are times when it's just better to take the money and run, especially in a place like Las Vegas, than
all places,
than to double down and hope for the best. Because that's what happened here, and it did not work out for either of those drivers. Travis Gilbert is still on pit road, 3 laps down in 26th. Caleb Gilbert is 25th, 2 laps down because he was able to drive it back. Chris Nails out of the race. Nick Alves got damage in that as well. Parker Johnson, I believe, has damage, although it looks like it's pretty much fixed. Alex Forget somehow got out of that, not too bad. And something's going on here, too, with Kyle Diaz falling to the back of the field, possibly a penalty over the 26, possibly a choose violation. Not sure exactly what's going on there, but we are just about ready to get back racing. All Element X front row. We've seen this all season long. The top 2 in the points in the regular season, the top 2 in the points in the playoffs as they run, top 2 in the race right now. Pace car going to make an illegal pit entry once again. Burns has the field in tow into the restart zone. Good launch. We're racing again here at Vegas. Battle is on for second right now. Rader and Robinson going at it. No one in particular is going to get that spot. The Raiders going to have the edge right now. And Justice Murphy, I think, was probably the biggest winner out of all that. He went from not getting stage points to now he is up in the top 5. Lynn's trying to battle behind him 3 wide with Thorpe and McGeorge. And I think we've seen the 77 3 wide the most out of anybody today. Usually pinned down to that white line.
Yeah, he has found himself in the bottom side of 3 wide a lot tonight. To his credit, though, has done a really good job making sure everyone's had a little bit of room. He hasn't really bounced off of too many cars tonight. But he'll stay 3 wide there. Jackson McGeorge, Carter Lynn's not giving him any room to work with, as the 77 dives back down toward the apron, just behind the 12 of Justice Murphy.
Yeah,
Lap and a half full of 3 wide there.
There are a few drivers I would be comfortable with having 3 wide as Joe Joya goes around in the back. Just saw the 17 have a big crash. Oh, that thing is destroyed.
Oh, my goodness. That
Still
is
green.
totaled.
How are we still green? And we will stay green.
There's no other cars coming through the racing line. Horrible luck for the 17 of Joe Joya with no caution, although I don't think the caution would have helped him much there either. That thing is absolutely devastated.
Yeah, blown up is what it was. I think he got loose off the corner here, potentially. I don't know, he just tried to make a move on Diaz and missed. And then Parker Johnston,
man,
twice in this race, able to avoid major damage. But Joya going to be out of the race now. As Matt Robinson leads, got the lead away from Jeremy Burns while we were on that replay. Burns back to second, Rader third. Lynn's now up to 4th as Justice Murphy's fallen back to the 5th spot. Trevor Keith as well has joined the top 7. Trying to make it playoff drivers 1 through 7. 1 through 6, apologies. As 2 of them out of the race, of course.
Right now, we're on board with Matt Robinson, who's having a really good run here. He's only got 2 top 5s on the season. His most recent one coming all the way back at that wacky New Hampshire race in the summer, where Jeremy Burns came back from 4 laps down. So right now, a really good run going for the number 1 machine. Matt Robinson in the lead here as we're about to cross over 50 laps complete from Las Vegas. He's ahead of Burns, Rader, Lynn's, and Murphy. 4 playoff drivers all tailing the 1 car.
And the battle right now is still with Trevor Keith and Jackson McGeorge. They cannot sort out the 6th position. Behind them, Hudgens and Thorpe fighting for what would be the 9th position. Nobody able to figure it out. Keith's going to get ahead for just a moment. Not able to get down to the bottom, though. McGeorge going to put that car to the yellow line, to the white line, apologies, and get there. Still trying to catch my breath from the stage. That was just
yeah.
Like you just don't see that.
Oh,
77
Thorpe got a piece of the apron.
Absolutely caught the apron. Gonna lose a bunch of spots here, is where everyone is nose to tail throughout the field. B-Speeds, James Loveland running 11th, trying to crack the top 10.
Nice little drive toward the front there for the 0-2 in his return. Moving up a few spots. Now on board with Loveland. He looks to the outside of Holloway. That caution, let me tell you, that put the 21 of Holloway in a really good spot. He was really struggling in that opening stage, but now has some track position. He's doing a pretty good job holding on to it.
Yeah, good stuff here for the Candyman. Justice Murphy's been sucked back into this battle with Trevor Keith. A couple playoff drivers trying to figure out who will be the first to lead this second group, as the front 4 have pulled away Robinson, Burns, Rader, and Linz, your top 4 currently. Justice Murphy out ahead of the 2x2. Hudgens and Keith, and then all that company behind them. There are about 15 cars stacked up behind Justice Murphy. This is where you just hope that everything goes right. The 54 back on the racetrack. Big moment for his playoff hopes. He's going to gain 1 spot over Travis Gilbert. That might be enough come a couple weeks here at Martinsville.
And the other thing is if the 54 is able to keep himself on track without any other setbacks, if anyone else from the playoff group would have issues before the end of this race, he might be able to get by him just on attrition. So valiant effort here from the 54 to try and stay out there 13 laps down, trying to pick up any other points that could fall his way. But we're still watching this battle inside the top 10. It continues to be door-to-door here. Jackson McGeorge, Devin Hudgens battling for that 7th spot. Trevor Keith just got clear, but it is an absolute mess behind him as well. Holloway and Orlando Jr., and you've also got Loveland and Gort back there. It is just a whole host of cars all trying to break into the top 10 right now.
I was going to say, dangerous clear half a lap ago for the inverted diamond of the 15 of Trevor Keith. Aggressive move for Kevin Orlando Jr. Up and around Daniel Holloway alongside Devin Hudgens. And let's ride on board with the driver of the 84, having a solid run in the 7th spot right now. There's the driver in BR. Started 23rd, up 15 positions to the 8th spot. I've never run an oval race in VR. I could not imagine the chaos that would bring.
Yeah, especially if you were anywhere near that stage break caution. Can't imagine what that would have looked like when it felt as real as possible. Trevor Keith, though, starting to fall the wrong direction here. Jackson McGeorge has opened up a spot to the inside.
Oh, what happened to the 23? Oh my God, I saw the 23 way below the apron. He's going to check up a lot of cars in the back. He got shoved down there on the front stretch and entered. He's door banging the 8 now. Schaefer not happy with Brandon Richardson. Let's go back on a replay. What happened here? See him 3 wide and shoved down by the 19 it was, and then he just stayed in it. Somehow cleared up back on the racetrack in front of everybody without causing a caution. Dangerous stuff here back in the field.
Trying to figure out what his beef was then with the 8, because he definitely came up and gave the 8 a shot going down the back straightaway, but if anyone, should be the 19 that he's got his frustrations with.
Yeah, not sure. Maybe it was just, I was just going to run into the first car I saw. That could be it, because the 19 is well up ahead here in the 12th position now. Whatever damage he got from that stage-ending caution, clearly not affecting him too bad. Down the backstretch, Alex Forget in the 12th position.
Oh,
heavy contact
there.
Heavy
Hudgens
contact.
to the wall.
Yeah, Hudgens not going to be happy about that. I can tell you right now, he lose a lot of positions here. Probably some right front damage. He hit that wall where it was flat. Back to 14th now for the 84. Burns going to get around Robinson. Rader going to try and do the same. Element X to the front of the field. Carter Lynn trying to follow suit with the other playoff drivers and work around Matt Robinson. Outside wall contact there into turn number 1.
Right now, Lynn's trying to shape up the back bumper of Rader here, trying to find his way on around. Staying within half a second of the lead. I mean, that's where he's been just about all race long, has been hovering around that top 5 area. It's been a really good drive today.
Another issue for Trevor Erhardt. One happen here. See him in the pack. We have some outside wall contact here. Not exactly sure what went on. He's working beside Picklesheimer. That Texas A&M Engineering 41. He gets loose all on his own. Can't save it. Oh, wow. Richardson just missed him. That was beyond close. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, it was. A lot of close calls here in this second stage.
So I've mentioned the 41 of Trevor Erhardt numerous times having that Texas A&M machine. The other driver I haven't mentioned much is Justice Murphy. And the reason why I say that is they have a little bet going on. There's a college football game tomorrow. You guys may have heard of it, Texas A&M and LSU. Depending who wins, depends which driver will drive the opposite driver's favorite team's paint scheme. Murphy is either going to drive the Texas A&M machine, or Erhardt will drive the LSU one next week at Homestead. So keep an eye on that. That'll be another battle in the battle. Robinson loose off the corner. Great save. Little brake touch there to get it straightened back out. He will fall back to fourth, right behind the trio of playoff drivers.
It's not easy to catch a car out of a spin when it's already sideways. These next-gen cars especially. Normally when you go to try and catch the thing, overcorrects and you end up back in the outside wall. That was really nicely done from Matt Robinson to keep that car pointed in the right direction.
There is a trick with this car you can do. If you stab the brake pedal, it sometimes, because it's got the independent rear suspension, the 4 different brake systems, you can lock it up in such a way that it'll straighten the car right out. The problem with doing that is that if you jam on the brakes in front of traffic, you're probably going to get turned. So use at your own peril. Closing in on pit stops here, only a handful of laps away. We're at lap 26 of the stage. We'll bring up the race analysis again. We'll see that we can go between 28 and 32 on fuel. So when do we hit pit road? Not this time for your leaders. As Burns out front of another race this year. I'm curious to know, and you might have this information, Alex might be able to find it. How many times has Jeremy Burns led a race this season? Has there been a race where he has not been the leader at some point in the event?
Well, I could certainly get you that information here.
Other than Iowa, which I don't believe he was at.
There is listed about 7 or 8 races where he hasn't led, primarily large tracks, either super speedways or 2.5 milers, places like Michigan or Indy. Just about all of them that he hasn't led are those massive sort of restrictor plate tracks. But when it comes to the 1.5 miles, he has led a lap at every 1.5 miles this season, except the May race at Kansas and the May race at Darlington.
Great season for Jeremy Burns. Continues to get better. He won the stage here tonight, and he's leading again as we work a little past halfway in this race. On the final stretch of it here, 60-odd laps to go.
If you were curious, he has led about 15% of all laps this season.
That does not surprise me. In fact, I would have thought it would have been a little bit higher, actually.
Well, it is 89% at the road courses, apparently.
Yeah, that's crazy. And it would have been all the laps at all the road courses, save for, I believe, the pit sequence last week.
Yeah.
Picklesheimer's around.
Oh.
Diaz having issues as well. Diaz on pit road, actually.
And that might be kicking off the pit cycle there with Kyle Diaz.
Let's go back and see what happened to Picklesheimer before we diagnose this this pit sequence. Another loose out of 4 condition. It looks like it. It's sliding, and he saved it. Just about. Good job, actually, not wrecking that car. We've seen a lot of possible cautions today, but everyone able to keep it on the racetrack. Trevor Keith losing a spot here. I believe the 77 hit pit road. Yes, Grant Thorpe's on pit road. So is Dylan Picklesheimer. Kyle Diaz is already pit. None of the leaders hitting pit road yet. There's that damage, that very wounded 54. Matt Robinson on pit road, so is Trevor Keith. Here comes the 14 of Bennett. Haven't said his name yet today. Let's watch what it's like to do a pit stop from the onboard. For those curious. Into the stall. Solid stop for driver of the 14. Back on the racetrack, Raider leads. Carter Lynn's on pit road. Justice Murphy not on pit road, apologies. That's McGeorge. Justice Murphy is on pit road. Forget, oh, the 40 is spinning.
Whoa.
Al Likens has spun it out coming to pit road, although off the racing surface. I don't think that'll trigger a caution. Parker Johnston is still on the pit lane.
He has had himself a very Forrest Gump style day for Parker Johnson. Been around everything that's happened and luckily hasn't been completely caught up in anything too crazy, but has been right there every step of the way.
What a reference. Got the best of the best here up in the V-Speed booth with Alex Gagnon. That's a good one. I wouldn't have come up with that one. Well done. Orlando Jr. still on the racetrack. He's going to stretch this run the longest. Holloway still on the racetrack as well, as is Grant Turner, but we weren't surprised about that. Does he hit pit road this time, Grant Turner? I think he will bring it on the pit road. Doing his signature one lap later than everybody else, as far as he can stretch it.
He did a pretty good job stretching it. There's only about 3 cars, I believe, who have yet to come down pit road, and I believe that's, well, the cars that are on pit road right now, actually.
That's right.
Holloway and then Turner. Scorebug just hadn't quite populated the fact that they were on pit road, but here comes the field catching up to Raider and Burns. Where will they all cycle out?
Looks like Burns going to lose second once they cycle. Robinson going to get around him with the momentum. Here comes Forget. Early stop for him. Able to gain some time. You know, these two have had a bit of a history. Burns and Forget. As here comes the 27 back on the racetrack. Shuffled up a little bit.
And one of the cars I think who really struggled on that pit road exchange actually was the 98 of Jackson McGeorge. He's down to 10th, but looking at Matt Robinson here, you can see that he has led about 13 or so laps today. Currently running P2, trying to track down the leader. He's within 4/10 of it. And Morgan, would you believe that is the most laps he's led in a race so far this season?
That's an interesting number to have 13 laps led here today. He's shown a lot of speed here, basically in the playoffs. Remember back to Bristol, that car was up near the front for a lot of that day. And showing out again here. It's been feast or famine this season, though, for the driver of the 1. He's either been really fast, challenging for the lead like today, or relegated back in the 20s for the driver of the Aloe Barbershop, number 1.
He's trying to make a move here against Rob Raider while both of them are on fresh tires. The 1 had some of the best short run speed when we went green after the stage. It was just a long run speed that cost him a couple positions. But right now he is hounding the back bumper of Raider.
And it looks like we're about 2 stops away from making it to the end of this race. Possibly, apologies, a 1-stopper to the end of this race, it looks like. So you better get it right now. You only get one more chance to come to pit road. And another group of cars.
Take that spot away off of 3 and 4.
He is. Robinson back to the point. You see the 22 back on the racetrack as well. Caleb Gilbert and Travis Gilbert are still in lockstep, 24th and 25th. Six laps separate them. They are the first 2 drivers, 1 down as well.
The 19 and the 22, first time they've seen each other on track since that little tangle at the stage break. But the 22 will stay up toward the wall, the 19 down by the apron. And they'll get through that lap with no extracurriculars after their incident from the stage break the last time they saw one another.
Yeah, that would be a questionable move, to be this point in the race to make that sort of gesture to another driver, especially since one's in the playoffs, one's not. You know, one's having a great race now, one was and is not anymore. Retaliation is never something that you want to do on the racetrack. Vehicles are not weapons. And, yeah, that's all we're going to say about that.
Absolutely. No, cooler heads prevailed out here today, which is a good thing. But yeah, to your point you were making earlier, there is still a pack of cars right here. See Murphy, Linz, Burns, Keith, and Thorpe. 5 playoff drivers, all basically nose to tail here from, what is this, 4th on back to the 8th position.
Now let's ride on board with Trevor Keith for the first time today. Able to dive it to the inside. I believe is that Burns who's outside? I think it is. Yes, it is Jeremy Burns to the outside.
And now they've got Linz and Murphy side by side up in front of them. An aggressive move from the 15. Try and slide in behind the 9. It's almost going to be 3 wide through the corner. A little delayed 3 wide action. Burns just up behind him, but ran all the way up to the fence.
A lot of different grooves work here at this Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It gives me shades of 3 different racetracks. Burns is going to try and go 3 wide. Not sure if he's going to have the momentum to get off of the corner. It gives me shades of Michigan because of how smooth it is. Reminds me of Kansas because of its shape. And of Chicagoland because of how the different grooves work with each other. It's kind of a mixture of those 3 racetracks. And originally when it was built, it was based off the old Texas Motor Speedway before its reconfiguration to the 2 different ends.
And that unique sort of setup and trying to pull from these different places honestly created a place that maybe isn't like the best racing you'll ever see, but I can't think of a particularly bad Vegas race. They're always pretty entertaining, if nothing else. They always do a good job putting on a good show out here, and we're seeing that again here tonight. We've seen some fireworks, we've seen some passes for the lead, and now we're getting into the nitty-gritty as we are less than 50 laps to go here for Vegas.
I mean, it is Las Vegas. If it wasn't entertaining, then it probably wouldn't be in Vegas, would it?
I suppose it wouldn't be.
Let's have a look at your points. This is when they came into the event, not as they run. Burns and Rader still leading the point standings. Rader in 2nd, Burns in 5th. Got Travis Gilbert having that early struggle. He is currently sitting in the 25th position. Trevor Keith is 7th. Caleb Gilbert is 24th. Grant Thorpe currently running in the 8th spot. Carter Linz is in 3rd. And Justice Murphy finds himself in the 6th position. So a lot of good runs for playoff drivers. And obviously those 2 runs that are not going as well as hoped due to the damage from the stage-ending caution.
Taking a look here. Oh, go ahead.
The field has spread out quite a bit. And after Alex...
Yeah, it wasn't like this even just a couple laps ago. They were still pretty bottled up until a moment ago, and now it looks like things have really fanned out.
The only side-by-side on the racetrack is right here. Harrison around Erhardt, not side-by-side anymore. They sorted out rather quickly. But it might be time for a through your field right away, as something just happened to Matt Robinson.
Whoa.
The wheels have fallen off the 1. What happened here? He's running in 2nd off of turn number 2. So far, so good. Got Carter Linz right behind him. We've seen a lot of drivers just get free on their own. That's what happened here. He gets loose, starts to slide up the racetrack. A little help from Carter Linz. There goes Forget 3 wide through the middle. And Robinson saves it, but loses a bunch of spots.
Yeah, the other thing that was worth noting there is that because of where the 1 was, Forget had to get out of the throttle a little bit to make sure he didn't avoid him, which also stacked up Burns a bit. So honestly, I think it could have been worse for the 1. Everyone kind of stayed pretty connected, pretty bottled up there through that almost incident. Now, despite the fact Burns is 2nd, there is a straight line of cars going all the way back to James Loveland in 11th.
And it allowed Rob Rader to get away by about 1 second, his biggest lead of the day. pretty much the biggest lead of the day for any driver so far. 9 laps led for the Rocket in the 53. But you're right, everyone behind Jeremy Burns is bottled up. Forget's back there, all the way back to Loveland in the 11th position. That's 10 cars nose to tail. Caution is out on the speedway. It's Parker Johnston.
Oh no, the 48, the pole sitter, having a really solid day to start the day. Fell back a little bit there and just, he's the only car in this area and just gets loose.
Another loose condition into 3. Had it saved, then got it a little bit loose again, caught the apron. That's what did him in. But this might be a fun one to ride on board with and just see how the hands work when you're trying to save this next-gen car. This is in turn 1 and 2, the corner set before.
Already.
See. Yeah, he's wheeling it already. Overcast skies here in Vegas. Let's watch his hands. And never had control of that race car the entire corner.
Even when it looked like it had settled in a bit, he was still so active behind the wheel there, trying to get that car settled down. And now cars going to make their way down the pit road, and this is an interesting time to come down pit road. The stint was long enough to justify throwing new tires on there potentially and getting some more fuel, but I don't believe they can make it to the end of this race on fuel.
No, they would not be able to do that. Still about 40 laps left in the race. It can only go about 30 on fuel, meaning how do you split the last stage? Do you run it out? Do you cut it in half? What do you do? Rob Rader out of the pit stall already. He'll be the first driver to complete his service. So far, no challengers. There goes Forget. There goes Burns. I think Rader got him. No, Burns got him.
Yeah,
Move Jeremy Burns to the point.
Good stop for the 9 crew. Gets him out in front of the 53, and you know that caution, if nothing else, I think really hurts the 53 the most. He had a 1-second lead on the field that would have dissipated anyway with the caution, but now losing that spot on pit road, not even going to get his preferred spot on the restart. Big time change of pace here for the 53.
But for as bad as that may sound, he's still up 25 positions, by far the biggest mover of the race. It's rare we ever see somebody gain more than about 10 positions in a race. Plus 25. The other driver up double digits. That would be Trevor Keith in the 15. He has gained exactly 10 spots, 17th up to 7th in the inverted diamond, number 15. A couple drivers have gained 9. Devin Hudgens as Daniel Holloway, as well as Dylan Picklesheimer. Definitely a topsy-turvy kind of field today. Kind of drivers sprinkled throughout who have had good runs, bad runs, some outperforming, some underperforming what they typically do on mile and a half. It's this has been Vegas for sure.
That it has been. It's been a really just bizarre race as a whole. Some really good action throughout the field. A lot of really sensible moves, and then the occasional just wild
head scratcher,
wild situation out on track, and you just kind of sit there and go, how did we get here? And then it settles back into a nice long green flag run again, and you're like, all right, back to business as usual. But I mean, we've had a little bit of everything in this race so far.
Absolutely. Now is a good time as any to look at the team points. Element X Racing, OMT Racing, those are the two teams going for the championship that will be decided at Martinsville in a couple weeks' time. So currently, Element X leading the way, got Burns and Rader 1-2, and Gilbert down in 24th in the 54 after the accident earlier. I'm not exactly sure who's on OMT Racing, as they are, oh, there it is, Carter Lins, Joe Joya, Kevin Orlando Jr., and Tyler Harrison. So Lins up there in 4th. You got Harrison in the 45, who is, where is the 45 here? 17th. Orlando Jr. ahead of him. He's in 10th. So it's a decent battle so far. They have not quite sorted out who is going to win the team championship this year. The battle rages on here at Las Vegas.
It is an interesting thing to note. Now, I'm thinking back to the last time we were here at Vegas, third, fourth race of the season, back when everyone was still wondering how everything was going to unfold this year. And, Jeremy Burns ended up winning that race, led the second most laps, but the driver who ended up leading the most laps in that race was the driver of the 26, Kyle Diaz, tucked just outside the top 10. We've seen he's had some speed today. He was one of the best cars here in the spring. A little curious that I'm wondering if he's going to have something here on this final run to the finish to try and get up there and battle with the lead. He got as high up as about 5th or 6th, but hasn't really been able to get back there yet since the stage.
I remember calling that race, but that was a long time ago. Well done, Alex. That was.
I must say, I wasn't even at that race. I didn't come in until a few races later.
Yeah, Mike Noss and I had the call there, but that was a long time ago. Back in February, March. Burns going to try and repeat here at Las Vegas. Green flag is out. Element X on the loud pedal, going to get out easily to an advantage. Caution out on the speedway.
Already.
I think I saw Parker Johnston again have damage. Let's see if we can figure out where this was. '54 gets out of line to do the right thing there, and oh, Schaefer got him.
Yeah, got him big time.
Grant Turner
Into
involved
the,
as well.
Oh, didn't actually catch the wall.
That was impressive.
That was interesting. Yeah. I mean, obviously got a massive bit of damage with the 39 hitting him head on, but I floored that the 48 didn't back that thing up into the fence, because by all intents and purposes, that's exactly where it could have ended up.
On board on the restart here, so 54 got out of line. I'm not sure what the 23, what the plan was there, but yeah, just straight into the quarter panel of the 48, turns him around. And a little bit of damage on the right front for the 39. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think the reason the 23 tried making that move, the 45 was getting down and didn't fully drive it into the corner. Obviously, the tire's still cold. And I think the 23 thought he saw an opening there just above the 45, but didn't really, I don't think he probably considered in that split-second decision the idea that the 48 might also be trying to come down and fill that gap, and the two of them kind of met in the middle. But the 48 definitely got the worst end of that exchange. This is an interesting situation, though, Morgan. For these cars coming down pit road now, with a couple extra caution laps, you just might be able to stretch it.
Yeah, this cuts how much you were short by 5. You were short about 10. Now we're short 5. This is going to get close.
Caution laps from here. Maybe tack in one more caution before the end of this, and that strategy might fall right into their lap.
Because we know for sure the top 14 who stayed out, they cannot make it. Neither can Tyler Harrison, who stopped for fuel only at the end of that last run, or the end of that last caution. He has been on track for 3 laps. They can for sure not make it on fuel. This is going to get interesting. Another fuel mileage race we've seen this season. We've seen some bangers. Remember back to Pocono, Michigan was a great one. We even had fuel mileage happen at a super speedway. I believe that was Daytona, the fall race here. Interesting stuff so far. The Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution. It's been a great season. It's been a great race so far today. The Erhardt Homes 200 as we have a look at a pacing Tyler Harrison. Getting ready to get it racked up, and here we go to the choose. Maybe not to the choose. Choose next time. Some drivers will choose every time to make sure they don't incur the penalty, because we've seen that determine at least 2 races this season. I know Rob Rader's not going to want me to talk about the one in Phoenix that he won and had it stripped, given to his teammate Caleb Gilbert. Ended up getting the 54 in the playoffs. The other one, the opening race at Daytona, Tay McDonald crossed the line first. He had the win stripped. It was given to Dustin Reinstedel. put the 11 in the playoffs until he withdrew the waiver. And
Tell
that
you what,
became Parker
Caleb
Johnston.
Gilbert is making the most out of that win at Phoenix that kind of ended up in his spot with the DQ or the penalty for the 53. Obviously, his only win of the year, but he has fought his way to the round of 8. Obviously, not the day he wanted here today. But he is, I mean, still 2 more races to go out there and try and make something happen. And if nothing else, he has had himself one heck of a postseason run off of that win from Phoenix way at the start of the year.
You say that, and he is still the first driver who is laps down. So the first driver not on the lead lap, Parker Johnston currently still going to stay on the lead lap after a late pit stop there. But Travis Gilbert, 4 laps behind Caleb Gilbert. And those two, they're just trying to get around each other. As we see the 77 hit pit road another time, give him even more fuel in the tank. Now he's only about 3 laps away, by my estimation, from making it to the end. So it's going to be very close, and we know nobody can save fuel quite like Grant Thorpe. I don't know what to expect at the end here, but this is going to be a fun one. The chips are pushed in the middle. The 77's all in. What about the rest of the drivers? Playoff spot on the line for the Final 4 at Phoenix. Based on the backstretch. Do a quick race recap while we have the time. 4 cautions, 13 lead changes at the start-finish line. Been an unbelievably competitive race here in Las Vegas. I don't think we expected this many lead changes. I know I didn't, but they're proving.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this either. It's been a fun one.
Proving tonight that this track is racy. Little weather update for you as well. Cooled down significantly. We're down 17 degrees from the start of this race. Air temp stays about the same. Another pit lane violation here for the pace car. As Burns leads the field to green. Another restart in lockstep for the LMNX teammates, Burns and Rader. But Forget hangs tough back here in the 3rd position, fighting with Linz. Trying to take the bottom step of the podium. Justice Murphy still hanging in there as well in the 12. Going to maximize the playoff points he can get today. Going to slide up in front of McGeorge. Dangerous move. It worked out that time. 3 wide.
Murphy there side by side with McGeorge running in that 5th spot. You can see just how tight everyone's running. Robinson pushing the 12 down the back straightaway, trying to get alongside the 98. Trevor Keith, Devin Hudgens going at it as well for the 8th position. A lot of points, a lot of positions up for grabs here on this restart. We're making our way next time by. It will be 30 laps to go.
And who can make it to the end? Is there a caution to help drivers out? Will we go green? Who can stretch it? Will they stretch it? We're in for an exciting finish here at Las Vegas. No doubt about that. Battle on for 3rd still. Forget not quite able to clear Linz as they're holding up the group behind him. LMNX teammates getting out in front of the field by about 0.2 of a second. Linz finally able to clear the 19. Behind him, completely different story. Robinson fighting back into the top 10.
Side by side with the 98. Justice
put in the
Murphy
wall.
almost got out of sorts. And that could have been catastrophic for his playoff run. He's one of the only playoff drivers left yet to pick up a win this year. Just keeps putting in points when it matters and getting back-to-back top 10s to end the round of 12. But that almost really put him behind the 8 ball there. He nearly got a piece of that outside wall.
The big loser out of that one was Trevor Keith. He went from inside the top 10, now back in the 14th position. Now going to gain 13th back. He had to lift for the one who got in the outside wall. Now he has to fight and get all of those spots back.
tell he is driving with a little more intensity, a little more anger maybe than he was just before that. Really focused, trying to get back up to where he was running. That's a car that pretty easily could be running around 5th, 6th, or 7th right now, but currently marred outside the top 10. But how about this day so far for the 43 at Dylan Picklesheimer? Up 20 spots, battling with Devin Hudgens now.
There was a time in this race where he was 15 seconds behind the pack, running on his own very early in this race. He has turned it around, up in the top 10 with under 30 to go.
He even had a spin in there when he was back at the tail end of the field. What a recovery for the 43.
Persistence, it's important. Alex Forget has fallen back. He was up as high as 3rd. Sliding back a little bit now, down to 6th position, fighting with Robinson. Kyle Diaz made his way from about 10th up to 5th. Up 11 spots in the race, trying to work on Mick George.
You know, we were saying before a couple restarts ago, we were wondering to see if the 26 was going to make his way up there. He was one of the best cars in the spring race. And look at this, 25 laps to go. The 26 right in the mix. He's about to take away P4.
Can he get around the 98? Into turn one, they go side by side. Gonna dive into the corner. Gonna get blocked a little bit by the 66. Could not finish the corner. Lynn's gonna slide up the racetrack. Drafting help to the 98. One's gonna help the 26. That's teamwork right there, folks. Carter Lynn's is blocking both lanes like it's super speedway. How about Schaefer? Christopher Schaefer is running 11th. We saw him involved in 2 previous accidents. Just outside the top 10 right now, having a great run. Robinson going for broke on the high line. You just saw him way up at the outside wall. Will clear Carter Lynn's into 3.
There is a lot happening here just behind the leaders. Burns and Rader kind of minding their own business, and then 3rd on back is just a mess right now of cars trading positions, making moves left, right, and center. Robinson now works up the P3. McGeorge and Linz continue to duke it out. Got Kyle Diaz tucked in just behind them. What a war happening from 3rd on back through the top 10. No one's position really settled in that group. Now Robinson looks to take 2nd away from Rader. Oh, he almost lost it there in the corner.
Yeah, definitely a free condition for the 1. Top 5, single file out, back to Diaz. What does Alex Forget have? He's back up to that top 5 group. Lynn's falling back ever so slightly, was up there a little farther than that. Well, I want to just have a mention of the first driver who could potentially make it as Trevor Keith slides 3 wide on Picklesheimer. That was a dangerous move. That driver is, I believe, Christopher Schaefer actually. 6 laps fresher on fuel than everybody else. And the 23 make an upset here in the playoffs and win.
Wouldn't that be something?
And win a race.
Tell you what, it's not been the kindest of seasons for the 23 machine and Christopher Schaefer. He has certainly had his challenges, but he's having a really good run here today.
Oh, the 14's around.
Oh, heavy contact. Richardson in the wall as well. And this completely throws the fuel situation out of the window. Everyone going to be able to stop and make sure they got enough to get to the end.
You know who didn't want to see that was Grant Thorpe. You saw him saving fuel behind this whole pack. Harrison as well. And the 14 still trying to get it turned around. Let's go back and see what happened to cause this spin. Picklesheimer a little bit loose, just lost it on his own into the side of Richardson. Innocent bystander for the 8. I'm sure he feels the same way that his favorite NASCAR driver Kyle Busch feels this year, just bitten at every corner.
Yeah, and we've seen that happen a couple times here tonight with the exit of turn 4. Car's just a little too eager to get back on the throttle, ends up starting to get loose, and then they go to catch it, end up in the outside wall.
Yeah, seen it a number of times, as you mentioned. Everyone should be hitting pit road this time by. Be surprised if we didn't have every driver here on pit road. Even the ones who might be able to make it, I think it's not worth the gamble. You might as well bring it down. Drivers like Christopher Schaefer, Parker Johnson, James Loveland. We'll see what happens here. So it looks like everyone is going to hit pit lane, other than the 3 lap cars, of course, as they would incur a penalty for hitting pit road.
This is the money stop. Will anyone go to that 2-tire strategy? We saw it work for just about 15 laps, and that's just about the amount of time we have left here. Looks like McGeorge are going to take 2.
Going to get out first.
Oh,
Burns got him.
Did he?
Burns got him.
Oh, man.
Wow. And
I think the 98 slowed up a hair because he was about to go over the speed limit. And that little bit of a checkup, I think, was just enough for the 9 to poke a nose ahead.
at the same time, Burns' box is in the final section, so it's an average over the distance, not necessarily like a radar speed limit. So with him being stopped in that zone, he can accelerate from 0 and go well past pit road speed of 50 miles an hour to get out of pit road. And that did it for him. He was able to just squeak ahead.
Where is the 98?
I believe speeding penalty.
Oh, yeah, he tried getting to slow down at the last possible second, but alas, not enough.
I was going to say, there's a car missing, and it is Jackson McGeorge. Tough day. It was a great day, going to turn into a tough day. He's going to take some more fuel here. Going to start at the back of the field anyway. See if he can get a bit of an advantage, but be too little too late, more than likely, with only about 17 laps remaining here from Vegas. We are going to step aside, take a quick break. You've been watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution. The Erhardt Homes 200 here from Vegas. We'll be back in just a few minutes for the final 17 or so laps here at Vegas.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Swag.
Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here on V-Speed, high above the Las Vegas Motor Speedway as we complete the final pace lap of what has been the 5th caution of the day. 13 lead changes on the board so far. If you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, give us a like. Subscribe to the channel. And here on V-Speed, I've been Morgan Cook, Alex Gagnon alongside, as we've had all season long. It's been a thriller so far. Just a crazy end to stage 1, and the racing has not gotten any less exciting than that. You found us here on the channel. Hope you stick around a little while longer to find racing you can't get anywhere else. The Racing Revolution Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series is exclusive here to V-Speed for the remainder of this season. But the final stretch run to the finish. Burns on the inside. Justice Murphy on the outside. Green flag in the hand of the starter. Who is going to win in Vegas and punch their ticket into the next round of the playoffs. Another excellent jump.
Oh, you go ahead.
Another excellent jump here for the Element X drivers, working together for the third restart in a row. Now you can go, Alex.
Okay, I was just going to say, it also could be one of these non-playoff guys, Matt Robinson, Kyle Diaz. They're only running 4th and 6th. They have been in the hunt as much as anybody tonight, trying to play spoiler here at Vegas.
A lot of drivers on the outside wall.
Way down the track. Big time slide back up through the field. Everything's getting out of sorts there.
Orlando got spun.
Around.
Yes, he got spun. Caution is out on the speedway. Could not get it righted in time. Let's go back. That started with Forget, like you said, but let's have a look at it. And he used Forget up a little bit in the center. Everybody caught the wall, and kind of weird contact there between the 27 and the 19. Just turned the 27 sideways off the front bumper.
I mean, obviously, the 19 was coming down after clipping the wall, but at that angle, I'm shocked they had enough momentum for the 27 to turn around that quickly.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting situation there. Burns continues to lead here. We work into about 12 laps to go. When we get back racing, we'll have 10 or less on the ticker to close out the opening race in the round of 8. Points up on the screen again. Remind everyone at home just how important this race is. Very close once you get past Rob Rader, Gilbert, all the way through Justice Murphy. Very close on points. Only 11 separating 3rd through 8th.
And with the 22 and the 54 having some troubles here tonight, and with everyone else more or less running inside the top 10 right now, got to imagine it is going to be putting that much more pressure on Travis Gilbert and Caleb Gilbert to have good races the next 2 weeks, because they are going to have to fight from behind here if they want any chance to advance to Phoenix.
And what a next 2 weeks they are. Homestead, nothing like it anywhere on the schedule. And then Martinsville, equally nothing like it. We haven't seen a racetrack like Martinsville since the Clash, February 7th. That's how long it's been since we've been on a flat short track. It's going to be chaos for a cutoff race. The team championship is decided at Martinsville in 2 weeks, November 6th. You're not going to want to miss it. And then the finale in Phoenix, November 13th. And let's remind everyone what they're racing for. This beautiful trophy, Racing Revolution, Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series trophy. The 2024 champion will receive this. And I have never seen a trophy that belongs on the mantle quite as much as that one on your screen.
Absolutely. That thing is legitimately, it's just gorgeous. It's now making me live in deep regret of not having the foresight or the talent to run in this league to fight for that trophy.
Absolutely agreed. And so while some drivers look forward to next year, team announcements coming out this week and for the rest of the season. It's this series is as close to the big times I feel like you're going to get on iRacing. Great group of guys here, and I'm glad that V-Speed's been able to be a part of it all season long. Glad I've been able to be here. Alex, I'm sure, feels the same way. It's been a thrilling season, and I don't have enough good to say about everyone in this league throughout these first 30-odd weeks. Down to only 3 left.
Yeah. Crazy how quickly it's gone, considering how many races there's been on the schedule. It feels like it's flown by.
Absolutely. And a driver that I just got a little information from, little birdie told me, really big uptick in performance for Kyle Diaz over the last 9 races. Over the first 21 races in the season, average finish 22.3, so just behind the top 20. The last 9, how does 8.3 sound? That's got to be near the tops in the league.
Absolutely, it's got to be. And when you consider how much struggle there was at the start of the season, if he was running the way he has the past 2 months or so, all year long, I'd be hard-pressed to say he wouldn't be one of these championship 8, or these, 8 contending for a championship right now. Because, I mean, he's been otherworldly these past few weeks. The only thing that's missing is that first win of the year.
If I'm not mistaken, an 8.3 average finish over the whole season would put him third behind Burns and Rader. Burns sitting at something like a 6.7 and Rader right around that 8 number, if memory serves me correctly. But just an incredible show of consistency over the last 9 races for Kyle Diaz, and hoping to make it 10 in a row here, finishing with a good average finish. You got 9 laps to sort it out and see, is he able to do that? Who will rise to the top? Who will falter here in Las Vegas? Once more, the pace car going to lead the field under caution through turn number 2. This was the 6th caution of the day. Still have not had a lead change since Jeremy Burns took the lead for this latest time. Track temp dropped another degree, down to 80 degrees in this overcast day in
Down
southern
17
Nevada.
from where
Yeah.
it started.
Absolutely, it's down a significant amount. Huge changes. That's probably why it's so free for all these drivers. A lot of sliding. Tires can't get hot as fast. Flagman has the green flag in hand. Into the restart zone again. Burns going to get the launch. Rader to the outside this time. Can the Rocket get around the Mountain Man? That was the sentence I never thought I'd have to say.
Justice Murphy might have something to say about it as well. He's getting right into the mix.
Trevor Keith, highest he's been all day, up in the 4th position. Playoff drivers showing their muscle late in this race. Carter Lynn's to the high side. Grant Thorpe going to follow him.
Justice Murphy going to force it in there to take P2.
Yeah, he muscled
wow,
that
there
one.
was not a lot of room.
And he's going to get to the outside of Burns as well.
Oh, but a big block from the 9. All bets are off now.
Under 10 laps to go here in Las Vegas. The Erhardt Homes 200. Playoff drivers pushing hard. Oh, contact. Rob Rader involved. 2 more hit the
Rader
outside
lost
wall.
a ton of speed off of 4. Robinson, someone's in the infield.
Dylan Picklesheimer is spinning to the
Whoa,
infield.
he's
So is
really
Christopher
going through it.
Schaefer. Caution will come out. 23's on the racetrack. It's going to set up a green-white checker, more than likely.
Has anyone said racing rev overtime?
What a finish we're going to have in store here. Let's see what caused 23 and 43 to go around. They're already spinning through the grass. Let's rewind a little bit further. I see Christopher Schaefer. I don't see a Picklesheimer anywhere near him. Possibly behind. There he is. Black nose. Back to the blimp view and see what happened here. They're 3 wide. McGeorge, Holloway, Orlando Jr. 3 wide still. Wall contact. Seen that story before. McGeorge got the contact. And what happened to Picklesheimer? How did he end up in all this? He wasn't in that frame.
He certainly was not. But I'll tell you what, the 23 almost pulled a Tyler Reddick there. Caught the quarter-mile track in the infield, nearly rolled it. Nothing was fully up off the ground. Taking a look here with Dylan Picklesheimer, who was behind this incident.
So he got tight.
This all happened in front of him.
He caught the wall and off the front bumper of the 14. Separate incident, but yet still involved in the incident. Tough. He also almost went up and over in the 43.
Separate yet identical
Yes.
to what happened to Christopher Schaefer.
And we've seen that a lot tonight. That turn 4 wall, we talked about it early in the show. It appears very quickly, faster than you would expect it to. And if you get out of shape ever so slightly, you're going to catch that outside wall. You're going to hit it very hard, and you're going to peel yourself off of it and bounce in front of traffic. It's common at pretty much all the 1.5 miles, but especially here in Charlotte. And it hurts. I've been in it a time or two. I've hit the outside wall at both racetracks off of turn 4. And you're kind of a passenger once you do that. It's hard to save it. And back in front of traffic, most of these drivers go, and then the caution comes out.
It's going to shape up a really interesting run to the finish. I'm looking at this this field right now. Top 2 playoff drivers, 4th, 5th, and 6th playoff drivers, as is the driver in 8th. A lot of playoff drivers in the mix here, all going to try and get that win to lock themselves in. Obviously, Burns looks good on points going into the round, but a win would secure it. But for any of these guys outside of him, I mean, a win would be huge. Lock your ticket right now to the Championship 4. Don't even have to worry about Martinsville and Homestead the next couple weeks. Huge opportunity on the line here for guys like Justice Murphy, Trevor Keith, Rob Rader, Carter Linz, Grant Thorpe, the whole mix.
Yeah, Homestead, I wouldn't think to be much of a wild card race, although that is going to be the first and only time we visit that racetrack this season. So you better bring your A game, as all the other tracks, other than Martinsville, we are returning to. So Phoenix, we are returning to. Martinsville is a wild card of all wild cards. We saw how New Hampshire went earlier in the year. If you recall back to February, the finish of the Clash, Grant Turner, was 15th on the white flag lap. He won the race because the 14 drivers in front of him all crashed. Made a wonderful YouTube short, but
that's unbelievable.
It was the closest thing to the Cars movie I've ever seen, where everybody just parted, everyone crashed. Grant Turner able to go collect the victory in the Clash. And I'm not trying to foreshadow what Martinsville might look like, but that is not out of the realm of possibility. That place is small, just over a half mile, 2 drag strips separated by a couple tight U-turns made of concrete. So, I mean, it's an unbelievable racetrack. What I'm saying, it's a wild card. Get it done now, or get it done next week at Homestead so you don't have to rely on a win in Martinsville.
Yeah, that would be the optimal scenario. So we're getting to the choose here. Burns taking the inside. Murphy going to restart on the front row, leading the outside lane. Give himself the best chance here, track position-wise. Robinson and Keith, 3rd, 4th. Then you got Linz and Rader backing up behind him.
Three laps to go. First of the green-white checkers. Let's discuss green-white checkers while we have a moment. We have 3 of them available, as we've already passed the scheduled distance would be this time as we cross the start-finish line. So we get 3 of these. What's going to happen here is the start flag will wave for a green flag lap. If the drivers make it back around to the white flag, the next caution ends the race, whether it be checkered or the yellow flag. If they do not make it back around to the white flag, then we rack them up and do it again. 3 tries total. This is attempt number 1. We've seen this a lot this season. But who's going to get it? Late race restart. Nerves are up. Chips pushed in the middle. It's time to get it here at Las Vegas.
Not a great launch for the outside lane with Justice Murphy. Robinson going to jump into P2. Linz going to try and follow him through. 3 cars from the inside lane going to take over the top 3 spots.
Robinson hanging tough. Still not over. As they roll through turns 3 and 4, this could be the white flag. The white flag presented by Erhardt Homes. Love where you live. It's out. This race will be official. They're 4 wide. 4 wide into turn number 1.
Murphy is getting bounced around like a pinball in there.
It's not sustainable. 3 playoff drivers side by side by side. They're wrecking.
More
They're still wrecking. Raiders around. Heavy damage to
As
the
is
53.
We're
Into
going to run
traffic.
back to the line. Oh, boy, big wreck.
Keith in it as well, but Jeremy Burns out of turn number 4. Robinson's in the wall.
Oh,
Burns is going to win again, sweep him at Las Vegas.
there is so much to unpack from that final lap. I don't think I was ready to see Matt Robinson absolutely gun it off of turn 4, trying to make something happen.
And he still ended up in the second spot. Valiant effort, but wow, let's go back a minute here and let's see if we can figure out what happened to Rob Rader and the rest of the field behind your winner, Jeremy Burns.
I think I could tell you. I think it's called they tried running 4 wide at Las Vegas for a full lap.
Agree with that. A little further back here. That car was destroyed. There's the 4 wide and just not able to get around it. Trevor Keith involved. That's 3 playoff drivers. And then right in front of Forget and a bunch of other cars involved. Yikes.
Tell you what, that just was a huge moment there to bail. Oh, Trevor Keith nearly got caught by McGeorge.
He
there.
did. Just
Big
about.
moment though for Caleb and Travis Gilbert. They were down and out for most of this race, but you know, with issues there for Murphy, for Rader, all of a sudden the damage maybe not so bad coming out of Las Vegas tonight.
And we will sort it out after we chat with our winner, Jeremy Burns, and go through our results. It was a wild one here in Las Vegas, and the Mountain Man going to claim another checkered flag. Let's get him up here in the V-Speed booth.
Oh, moving to the waiting room. Oopsies.
Jeremy Burns, it's Morgan and Alex up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
I don't know how you keep doing this, but you must really be a fan of the broom, I'd have to think, because you have done a phenomenal job all season long of sweeping about everything there is to sweep. You swept the road courses last week. You've led wire to wire with all the stages and the fast laps and all that you've done all season long. You swept here at Las Vegas. You've won yourself into the championship round at Phoenix in a few weeks. What does this mean to you? What's going through your head right now?
I mean, it's time to practice for Phoenix. But no, like, I'm super excited for this. I just think that, you know, this is just one of those things where it shows how much work we've put in. And I can't thank everyone who's helped me tonight, the teammates and Matt Robinson there on that final restart. They did a phenomenal job working with me. And, you know, that I can't thank them enough. Matty was the reason why I got out there on that final restart to begin with. So huge shout out to him. And I mean, this whole season, man, it just felt like we've been so strong, right? And I can't tell you how many times I've won. But I think tonight I actually broke the record for the most wins in a season. So that just shows you the type of season that we've had. And not only that, but to come out and win the stage as well. Kind of in an odd fashion, but we won the stage. So, but yeah, we're going to go into Homestead with a sigh of relief. No pressure, and especially no pressure when we go to Martinsville. God knows I didn't want to have any pressure going into Martinsville, but we can start practicing for Phoenix and see if we got anything for Rob this year.
Yeah, unbelievable drive all season long. We said it. I think we've interviewed you more than anyone else. I don't know the exact tally on that, but it's got to be up there in the teens, I would have to think, if not even a little bit higher. Just an incredible season for Jeremy Burns. And today, you were always up in the top 5. A lot of great battles throughout the race with playoff drivers, and with that caution on the final lap, 5 playoff drivers of the 8 having some sort of damage crossing the finish line. How does Jeremy Burns and the 9 group always seem to stay out of the trouble, out of the wrecks? I don't know if you've DNF'd yet this year. Sorry. You got 2 races to DNF and it's okay. What do you do to stay out of these accidents? How do you practice that? And what do you have? What advice do you have for everyone else listening of just how you do that?
Well, I know that it's going to sound kind of obvious, but if you're up front, you're out of the chaos. I feel like there was a strategy there with about 30 to go where people came down, took fuel, and we're hoping that it could be a fuel strategy game. And, you know, for somebody that's back there underneath the points, you can see where that's a viable thing where they're going to try to stretch it where we still have to pit. But my whole thing is stay out front as long as you can and for as long as it seems feasible. Another thing is qualifying really good. When you qualify really good, you get a really good pit stall. So being able to get in and get out of pit road efficiently and not lose spots like that, that's one of the easiest ways to lose spots. So practicing your pit entry, pit exit, practicing your restarts, knowing kind of your strategy going into it and not just going into it blind, knowing who you're around and being very situationally aware of your surroundings. And just knowing how things are going to go. You know, we have a practice on Tuesday where guys can join in and it's half of the length of the race. And there were some things that I picked up on last night, and I encourage everyone to go out and practice in that. Not only just to, you know, get closer with the guys, but you kind of learn some tendencies, right, between different drivers. So that's kind of the biggest thing that I can suggest to the other drivers. But at the end of the day, I'll suggest it to them in the off season or within these next 2 weeks. But for Phoenix, we're probably going to keep a lot of things in the team. So
I imagine Element X Racing will keep the lid on it, but that finish definitely shook up the team points as well. It was looking like a good day for Element X Racing. We'll have to see how it shakes out going into next week. At Homestead, I know you've got the list. I didn't see you pull out the phone this time. I know you got it. You're looking at it right now. Why don't you to rattle off those names that you thank every week and just show or say who supports you and who you want to shout out for here tonight.
yeah, I've had to start getting sneaky with it because you've called me out on it now. I during that green white checkered, I got it just in case. So first off, gotta shout out my mom and dad, Josie, Dylan, Coach P, Sonny, my grandma and Miss Betsy for their continued support, Julie, Derek, Caroline, Shannon, Belinda, Betty, and Colleen. Incredible support from all of them. Any of the other supporters from the league, Element X Racing, Chapman Environmental Services for being on the hood all season here, Buttkicker, Coastal Financial, Ultimate Exterior Lighting, All About Bugs. You guys up here at V-Speed, and especially Erhardt Homes for being the race sponsor tonight, and everyone else who made this possible. You know, anybody else that is out there supporting the league, I shout them out too. And yeah, shout out the guys and gals, my roommates, and all the girls that are watching with my girlfriend. So huge shout out to all of them, and let's get this thing going to Homestead, to Martinsville, and then to Phoenix, baby.
All right, he broke out the broom once again. Jeremy Burns going to sweep the races at Vegas this year and move on to the round of 4 at Phoenix. Congratulations, Jeremy, and thanks for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right, now we are going to get to the post show. After a quick commercial break, you've been watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution. The Erhardt Group 200 here on V-Speed. We'll be back right after this.
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. You know, it's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
Oh, big wiggle.
Here comes Lyle using the ball. Zach Carr closing in behind.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The ball gets burned.
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Slack.
Slack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Erhardt Homes 200 here at Las Vegas. And here's how it went down. 7 cautions with 13 lead changes. Burns, once he took the lead, he never gave it back. Led 58 laps en route to the win, sweeping the Las Vegas weekends here in this season. Matt Robinson came home in second, the highest non-playoff driver. Carter Linz getting some good points today. Tyler Harrison in fourth. Grant Thorpe, the other playoff driver, to not have trouble. He finishes in the 5th position. Loveland, Likens, Diaz, Erhardt, and Parker Johnston, all non-playoff drivers, all rounding out the top 10. Great runs for all those drivers, including your pole sitter, Parker Johnston. In 11th, Kevin Orlando Jr. In the 27th, Daniel Holloway, the Candyman, finishes in 12th. Christopher Schaefer with a great run in 13th. Devin Hudgens finishes 14th here tonight. Grant Turner up 10 spots to 15th from where he started. Brendan Richardson, even with the damaged car, was able to finish 16th. Trevor Keith, the next playoff driver, in the 17th spot. Dylan Picklesheimer had a solid run. It all went awry with that late race spin. He finishes in the 18th spot. Justice Murphy and Rob Rader, playoff drivers, 19th and 20th after their tangle on the final lap. Alex Forget finishes 21st after an up-and-down day. Michael Bennett will finish in 22nd after a spin at the end of the race. Jackson McGeorge caught up in that accident as well, 23rd. First driver laps down, Caleb Gilbert, followed by Travis Gilbert. 2 playoff drivers caught up in the stage-ending caution early in the race. Joe Joya finishes 26th, Chris Nail 27th. Nick Alves, not a good day for him. He is 28th, and Christian Bresnock rounds out your field in 29th, 114 laps behind the pace. And that is how this race went down. Alex Gagnon has caught up with our top 3, starting off with Matthew Robinson.
Hey there, Matt. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, best finish of the season, I believe. Most laps led in a race so far this season. Just about as good of a day as you could draw up outside of missing that last spot. Talk to us before anything about that move in turn 4, trying to take that lead from Burns on the final lap. It looked like you absolutely sent that thing off the corner.
Yeah, I was going Days of Thunder. I was not letting off. I had nothing to lose. I just wasn't going to wreck him. I mean, that's all that mattered. And there was a pretty good gap to third. And Carter's a playoff guy, too. So if he got me, he got me. It wasn't a big deal.
Well, ultimately, was a valiant effort to say the least. But talk to us a little bit about your day as a whole. It looked like you were really up there really battling for the lead just about all race long.
The day was pretty good. I absolutely love Vegas. It's one of those tracks that I come to every year, and I always feel really confident about. Later on in the run, probably 9 laps ago, his tires started to burn off a little bit. I got loose 2 or 3 times, saved it, never really crashed, thankfully. Um, Made a couple days of thunder moves in 1 and 2 around the outside of a bunch of guys. Tires were burned off. It was just a really fun race up there with Burns and Rob and all those guys, and it was a blast tonight.
It certainly seemed like you were wheeling and dealing out there. Next week, going the Homestead. How do you feel going into a track that, similar concept but very fundamentally different?
Uh, I honestly don't even remember how I did at Homestead last year. I think I had a top 10. I don't really remember much of it. Um, so it's gonna be a refresher. We'll see how it goes. I'm in another league that runs there tomorrow, so I'll get a little bit of practice, and we'll see what we can do next week.
Already. Well, Matt, up here in the booth, anyone you'd like to thank or shout out before we let you go celebrate the podium here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to my wife, my kids. They're always supporting me doing this. My parents that watch every week. My grandmother still watches every Thursday morning. Performance. I had Nick spotting for me for a while tonight since he wrecked out early. Um, Obviously Chapman, everybody that sponsors everything, all about bugs, KSX with TK. You guys do fantastic week in and week out.
Alrighty. Hey, Matt, congrats on the run tonight. Thanks for joining us up here. And hopefully we get to talk to you again next week at Homestead.
That's the plan. Thank you guys.
That's your second place finisher tonight, Matt Robinson. Alex going to get in the sprinter stance and run down to catch up with the third place finisher, Carter Linz, in the 66.
Hey there, Carter. You got a copy?
Right here.
Well, another podium run for you here tonight. String of pretty good finishes here the past few weeks for you. Talk to us a little bit about your evening, particularly that green-white checkered where it looked like everything was happening all at once.
Yeah, coming into tonight, it was kind of a big gray area. Really didn't know how I was feeling. I only had a little bit of practice time just this past week. Didn't really get too familiar with this track. After though hearing a little bit of details from some of my teammates saying who's strong here, who's doing what here, that really helped out tonight. Uh, I don't know what's really been going on with me. It's just switch is flipped here at the end, and I'm doing whatever I can to hang out top 5, top 3 each night. And yeah, coming to that last green white checker, that was not what I wanted to happen. But then I knew everyone was gunning for that win because everyone was going to be right there stacked up. It was going to be an absolute mad dash, and anything was going to happen. So I just had to stick it out there and hopefully just survived, and it was in my favor tonight.
It certainly seemed like it. A great run for you. String of, I think it's now 6 straight top 10s through the playoffs here. I got to imagine a big part of what's keeping that championship hunt going. Talk to us a little bit about, the battle that it's been week after week trying to get up above that cut line because it has not been an easy feat for you, but each week you've continued to rise to the challenge.
Yeah, no, it is every week here. This is the most impressive racing out of any league I've ever seen. It is absolute back to back. It is just absolute, just full out all the way on the limit. You can't make any mistakes. You have to just be locked in, head straight every week, and you just got to come out and you got to perform. And ever since the playoffs started, that's kind of just what I've had to do is just tunnel vision straight forward, and I got to have my marks on who I got to be in front of, and I just got to hit those. And I feel like the past couple weeks, I've been doing that. So I just need to keep going on here into Miami, into Martinsville. That's gonna be very interesting. But hopefully, I can be talking to you guys. Hopefully, here in the final four, maybe.
Would certainly be fun. We would definitely enjoy chatting with you here over the next couple weeks. Speaking of next week, obviously going to Homestead. How do you feel about Miami? Obviously, it's a pretty polarizing track. Some people absolutely love it, and then some folks say that they'd rather go anywhere else.
Yeah, that's another big gray area track for me. Is I joined this league about this week a year ago, so I really didn't partake into too much of the racing that was going on due to the playoffs and me being new here. This will be really the first time I'm gonna actually have a real crack at it, trying to win it. Um, yeah, no, I'm gonna have a lot of time to put in this week. Definitely this weekend, trying to figure out the track, what's line's gonna work, what's not, and hopefully, yeah, still somehow get another top 5, another top 10, hopefully.
Certainly would be ideal, especially for your playoff hunt you've got going on right now. Carter, anyone you would like to shout out here this evening?
I want to shout out you guys, V Speed. It doesn't matter what race is going on. You guys always do a top-notch performance. You guys are always awesome. Especially talking to you guys here. It's always fun to see you guys. And want to shout out Racing Revolution every week. Like I said, it's an absolute battle. Everyone here is amazing. Everyone always has a good time. Obviously, tempers flare a little bit here and there, but everyone always gets along at the end of the day. Everyone's always very respectful, competitive towards one another, and it's always a great time racing here. I want to shout out friends, family. My girlfriend, she's upstairs watching. She's hearing me right now. Hi, Sarah. um, but no, I think that's it for you guys tonight. So yeah,
Alrighty, well, Carter, thank you so much for joining us up here in the booth tonight. Congrats
Yep.
on the podium finish, and excited to see what you got in store for us next week at Homestead.
yeah. Thank you. You guys have a good one tonight.
All right, that's your third place finisher. Carter Lynn's going to keep it short and sweet once again, as he does. But that is going to wrap it up for the post show here today. The Erhardt Homes 200 here for the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series, presented by Racing Revolution. Let's get that race logo up on the screen once again. Last second sponsor of this race. It was a good one. Hopefully they enjoyed the coverage, just like everybody at home hopefully enjoyed the coverage. But let's look ahead. Next week, October 30th, please join us. The Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series travels to the beaches of Miami for the middle race in the round of 8 at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on V-Speed, as we bring you flag-to-flag coverage all season long. And if you've enjoyed the race tonight, hopefully you will subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single race as we have more content throughout the week. Days ending in Y, as my broadcast partner Bradley Cooper likes to say. But for everyone here at V-Speed, Bradley Cooper, Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, and of course Alex Gagnon along with up here in the booth with me. Goodness gracious. I've been Morgan Cook. Have a great evening. Thank you, and good night, everybody.